Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back. Today we're talking about seasons of life. You just watched the intro video, but we're gonna jump right into it right now. So, seasons of life. This season we're talking about is season of yes. Saying yes to things. I can remember when I started this journey of my life of going from my parents' house, of being young, joining the Marine Corps, then coming back, and then saying yes to going to the gym, saying yes to doing this thing. And I think to my children right now, right? My kids are in a season of saying yes more often than they are saying no because they're 7 and 8 years old. And let me give you an example. They say yes to soccer. They say yes to gymnastics. They say yes to skating. They say yes to all these things. They're going to try it out and see where they're at. How do you know if you like something or if you're going to be good at something without going out there and trying it? Right? And saying yes to it. Maybe their friend invites them to say, hey, come camping with us. How do they know if they like camping? You know, surfing. I say, hey, girls, let's get you some surf lessons so you can see if you like it. Right? That's a season of saying yes. It's an expansion season and expanding our minds. We're expanding our actions. We're going out and learning new information. We're surrounding ourselves with people. We're growing as humans. We're taking in these things and we're saying, you know, I don't know if I like that or not, but I'm going to try it a little bit. I don't know if I like this or not, but I'm going to try it a little bit. Now, obviously, this isn't things that are in a bad negative direction. These are only things in a positive direction. You should always be in a season of saying no to things that are ultimately going to hurt you. Drugs, heavily drinking, all of the negative vices, right? You should be learning that you're in a season of no. There was mistakes in my life where I was still saying yes to those things because we want to try them out. Sometimes you got to burn yourself on the stove a little bit in order to learn that the stove's hot, right? So, but this season of growing and learning doesn't just start when you're 7, 8, 9, 10. It can grow all the way up until you're in your teens. And it grows even when you're a young man or young woman, right? And so, especially if you guys are looking to be an entrepreneur, you're looking to open your mind. You said yes to watching this video. You said yes to joining this program, right? Whichever program you're on, you said yes to watching this. And so you are in an expansion mindset. You're like, I may have been fearful at first. I may have had my doubts, but today I am in a season of growth and I'm going to buckle down and I'm going to at least watch this X amount of series so that I can grow. You should take that same energy and apply that to many other facets of your growth at this point if you're in a season of saying yes. How do you know if you're in a season of saying yes? I'll tell you how I knew I was in a season of saying yes is I felt stuck. I wanted something different. I needed new information. I needed a new friend group. I didn't like where I was physically. I didn't like how I acted. I didn't like the person I saw in the mirror. And I'll tell you something funny. This can even go back to your style, the clothes you wear, right? There's a phase where I wore button-ups when I was a builder and I felt like I had to cover up my tattoos. There was a phase where I wore Gucci slippers, Gucci loafers, because I was like, dude, those look gangster. I love those. That's cool. I can afford those now. I want to wear those. And you know what? I tried it out. That's not my jam. It's not what I wear anymore, but at least I tried it. I went and did it. I look back. I'm like, that's funny. Those are great photos, but that's not really who I am. But how would I know? How would I know, right? You know, there's probably many photos you guys can go back on as a kid, as a young man, as a young woman, in your 20s and be like, man, that was a style or that was something I tried. I don't know what I was thinking. But you were in a season of saying yes. You're trying to figure out who you are and what's happening, right? Well, this is the same when you start entrepreneurship, when you start your own business, when you start to expand. You have to kind of reach out a little bit and say, I'm in a season of growth. And to me, what does that mean at that point? That means I don't really want to, it's uncomfortable to, but I'm gonna go to this meetup. I'm gonna go to this event. I'm gonna attend this free real estate local event in my area, right? I'm going to pay to go to this mastermind and I'm gonna shake hands with people. And even though I'm more of an introvert and I don't wanna talk to people, I'm still going to meet others because I'm in a season of saying yes. I'm in a season of changing who I am, changing leaves, right? Changing colors, because that's what you wanna do. You wanna grow. Well, how do you grow? You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. This could go all the way back down to fitness, right? Maybe you're in a season of changing your body. You're in a season of like, dude, I have got to get into the mindset. I've got to harness my eating habits. I've got to harness my training habits. I've got to harness my mental input. Maybe I'm in a season of saying no to watching the news, and I'm in a season of saying yes to listening to a podcast while I'm driving job to job. That's literally what I've done. When I was going from job to job as a builder or even working construction, I was filling my brain with new information and I was getting rid of old information and I was getting rid of old friends. I was getting rid of old habits. I was trying to retrain myself. There were so many times that was harder than it is to say, right? It's easy to say and hard to do. okay? You could be in a season of saying yes to new things and a season of saying no to old things. In my opinion, when you're in a season of saying yes to the new version of you, which is what you're doing right now, it's an automatic, you know that you're not gonna be doing these things. And we're gonna jump into a season of saying no in more depth in the next module. But right now, when you're in a season of saying yes, you're saying yes to the book. When somebody recommends the book, you say yes to it. When somebody says, hey, come with me, we're gonna go to this event. When your new friend from the real estate convention says, come with me, we're gonna go to this event. Oh, come with me, we're gonna go look at this house. I know you don't want to, it's Sunday. I know you don't want to, it's Saturday. I know you have to get off work and then you have to go to the gym and your buddy says, hey, come with me to the gym. I know you're tired. I know it's Saturday. You are in a season of saying yes because you are recreating these pathways in your brain and you're recreating these habits, right? And so you've got to go say yes to you. Think of it that way. The best way that you can categorize this is a season of saying yes to you and a season of saying yes to your future, the future you, the version that you want to be. And the best way that you can do this is that you need to create a 10.0 version of you, okay? And so write that down. This is your homework. If you guys have a pen, if you don't have a pen, grab one. If you have pen and paper, and start writing this down. Because what you need to do is you need to create a 10.0 version of you. And write out what are the habits that that person has. Do you think the person that's wanting to learn real estate, the person that's wanting to make more money, the person that wants to have better daily habits, the person that wants to do all these things, what do they do? What do they do? What are the habits of this person? Well, they go to the gym, right? They eat good. They eat healthy. They read or they listen to audiobooks. What else do? They self-educate. What else do? We make a list of all of these things. You guys have given you a quick example, but make a list of what are the things that that version that you want to be does. If you talk about money, what do? Do you think they save a little bit of money within this growth period? Yeah, they do. And what do they spend it on? They probably spend it on more, what? Self-education, right? But you still want to have some savings. So they save to invest in them. In them, because you're worth it. This will be you, right? Save to invest in you. It's not even a program or a mastermind. This could literally be a gym membership. Maybe you wanted to join CrossFit. CrossFit's kind of expensive. Save to invest in you. Maybe it's the book you want to go buy, but you just haven't done it because it's $50 or $40. Save to invest in you. These are the kind of things. Oh, well, you know, I want to join this certain gym. Maybe it's like Lifetime. Lifetime's expensive, and you want to be a part of that, and I want to reinvest. That's save to invest in you, okay? Maybe I'm going to get into real estate. I'm going to start my own business. What's it cost to get an LLC going? What's it cost to get into a program like My Inner Circle to get around people that are already doing what I want to do? Man, what does it cost to fly out to San Diego to Austin's house to come to one of his live events? Save to invest in you, whatever that may be, right? Maybe you have to get out of a place where you are. Maybe you're in a toxic environment. Maybe you have to save to invest in you to get out of your mom's house, to get out of the house where you have a roommate that does nothing but smoke pot all day. Maybe you have to save a little bit to expand yourself to get into a better spot, right? But that's because we're investing in you and we've created a 10.0 version of you and then we're going to go towards that. But the only way we can go towards that is by saying yes to the new things. And these are the new things we're always thinking about. We're saying no to watching the news. We're saying no to scrolling on Instagram pointlessly. We're saying no to going and drinking until 4 in the morning. We're saying no to all those things, but we are saying yes to new things because we have to recreate what is important to us. And what is important to us is what the 10.0 version of ourselves does, right? So say yes, go expand, go find things that you think you may like. Be around people that are doing more, be around people that are making more. Maybe the 10.0 version of you, you think you're like, oh, if I just made X amount of dollars a year, I could go and kayak with my friends on a Tuesday, okay? Well, save up maybe your time off, if you need the time off, and go try it. Because you may be like, dude, I hate kayaking. I thought I was gonna like it. It looked cool on Pinterest, but this ain't my jam. That's just an example, but you gotta go try it. This season is you getting your feet under you so that when you do decide to buckle down, when you do figure out what that is that you want, because I tell people this, I'm like, you have to clarify what it is that you want to go after, right? Everybody watching this is a different phase of life. Some of y'all have kids, some of y'all don't, some of y'all are married, some of y'all aren't. You know, some of you are old, some of you are young, some of y'all are in shape, some of y'all aren't. But everybody has a different place in life, okay? In order to clarify what we really want in life, we have to what? We have to be able to see it. And how can we see it if we haven't written it out, and if we haven't experienced certain things. Because there's times in my life that I thought I wanted something, and then I started to do it, and I'm like, that ain't for me. I'm glad I didn't go and build that house in that country club next to the golf greens, hole number 9, like I thought I wanted. I was hanging around a group of friends that thought that was cool. I was like, I can afford to build my own home. I have a construction company. I'm gonna go try it. I got into the neighborhood. I was looking at it. I was looking at buying a lot. I was looking at plans. I had all the plans started being designed. And I was like, in the middle of it, I was like, this isn't for me. And I'm fortunate that I found out before I moved in there. But there's been many times. For those of you that don't know, I've built multiple of my own houses. Three to be exact, okay? And from the ground up, plan designs. And you know what? I wouldn't know that I didn't like a 10-foot, square foot bathroom or a 1,000 square foot bathroom until I built one. I didn't know that I didn't like a wraparound shower with no glass door. It looked cool on paper. It looked cool in person until I built one and lived in it, right? And I was like, oh shit, it's cold. This is horrible. I should have put heated floors in this thing. I didn't know that I wanted heated floors until I realized that. And so when you go through things, you're gonna realize what you really do want, what you really don't want. But it's hard to get perspective without any experience. And that's why if you guys have ever sat down with your grandparents or your parents and they're always like, oh, you wait, oh, you wait. That's because they're more locked in on what they want because they've had more time and more experiences. Now, where this gets frustrating for some people is when they try to tell you what you want and what you don't want based on their perceptions, because each one of y'all are gonna have different perceptions, right? My folks would not do or do not want the life that I have. They don't like to travel that much. They love California, but they just are homebodies and they would be scared to move. Not that they're scared, they probably just don't want to. They like the one home that they've had. I've lived in multiple homes by the time my parents, one they built, okay? I'm also a person that likes to trade and sell my cars. That would give them anxiety. My dad hates to go buy cars. He hates talking to the car dealers. He hates all of that. So that he would be paralyzed by doing any of that. And I find joy in it. I'm gonna sell this one, I'm gonna buy this one, I'm gonna get this one, I'm gonna save this one, I'm gonna collect this one. This was a fun experience, now it's over, I'll sell it. Like things don't have that much bearing to me anymore because I've done it so many times. That's also why I have the experience of not caring so much about the house I live in, right? The person that's lived in 20 homes, 50 of their own homes, in a good way. I know some people have had to move around from poverty reasons and from their parents, from their childhood, which leads to another eye-opening and a mindset thinking, right? We can go back to mindset course. But my grandmother, she had to move all the time because they were very poor and they wouldn't pay their rent and they wouldn't pay their lease and the house would go bankrupt. And so she contracts and holds on to that home and has so much emotional bearing with this house. Whereas I grew up middle-class kid, happy-go-lucky, rode my bike to the ballpark and, didn't really think about money. We weren't rich, we weren't poor. I just got to be a kid for the most part. And so there for me, I'm like, oh, I look at this with a different lens. It is what it is. I'm fortunate. Your kids should be fortunate. You guys watching this want that version for your children, right? And then they have a different perspective. Then they have different motivations. Then they have a different sky is the limit. They have a different lens of what they want, right? So, but that's why I don't get emotionally attached to buildings anymore or my personal homes because I've done it so many times. I've built my own so many times. And I'm like, I don't care. There's certain things I care about and there's certain things I don't. I care more about picking out my next car than I do caring about what kind of artwork goes on the wall in this portion of this house. So you have to figure out what's important to you, right? What's important to you? What color of couch is this? Because so many people put so much weight on so many small things in life, like the decor of the room. I like a room that's put together as well, right? In your personal residence, I like a house that's put together. But is that something that's gonna keep me up at night? Where the lamp went, the wallpaper is? No. And you have to ask yourself, if that's so important, why? Why is it important to you? And really do some self-development. And maybe that's what you like, right? You could say, Austin, the same thing for you. Why do you care what car you drive? That's stupid. You just drive the car and then you're gonna sell it, it has flat tires. Great argument and great point. But the point we're getting back to, you. What's important to you and how do we find that out? We have to go out and we have to say yes. We have to say yes to things in order to see if we like this or we don't like this. We have to go out and we have to be confident in what we want at first and then say, drop the ego and be like, that wasn't what I really wanted, right? All right, let's move on to the next one. I hope you guys understood the season of saying yes. And what I want you to take away from this whole entire season of saying yes video is you have to go out and do new things in order to create a new life. You have to be willing to let go of the old version of you. We'll call it the 0.0 version of you. In order to become the 10.0 version of you, you have to be willing to let go of those bad habits, those old habits, that old mindset. Go back and watch the mindset training. I'm gonna keep adding more videos to that because it's so important. But you have to be willing to let go of those old paths, which means you have to be willing to say yes, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't want to. I do want to get into real estate. I'm going to go look at that deal even though I don't want to. I do want to do this. I do want to change my life, so I will go to the gym. I don't want to. It's uncomfortable. And then you're going to create this new pattern for yourself, and then you're going to be excited about those things because you're going to meet new friends. You're going to meet new opportunities. You're going to meet guys, single guys. You're going to meet that new girl. Girls, you're going to meet that guy. Whatever it is, you're going to meet these people that are chasing this dream life that is aligned with your life because you're out there going after it, and they're in the same river along the same stream. So say yes to this season of life.